guys, Holyknight is with you, bringing you High Score Girl, first episode review, impression. I have to admit, through this whole episode, I was cracking up, just laughing. The premise of the story is this kid who's not good at anything except the gaming. So he goes to this arcade every day after school. And on one day, one day, basically this this girl from his school comes by, and she starts playing. And the game that they're playing is Street Fighter 2, the old one, the one for like the Sega. So she plays them, and she wins. So he gets upset. He continues to play her, and he plays her many times. And after 29 times, he got 29 losses in a row. And like everyone's laughing at him because he keeps trying and trying. Then, in the 30th time, he finally wins. He wins by pulling cheating techniques. He had guile, and he kept on doing the razor wind to push his enemy back while kicking them and doing like chump damage until they had low HP. Then he went up, grabbed them in the suplex. And then he lost the second round. That was the first round. Then the second round she won. Then the third round he won. And he finally beat her after 29, after she has 29 win streaks against him. He finally won the 30th one. Then she gets up and we see her. And it's funny because she's really upset. And she looks at him and she comes out of nowhere and she just haymakers him. And that's where that part ends of that scene. Then the next day comes and they're at school, and we find out that she's a rich girl, and she gets good grades. She's always on time, perfect score, basically top row honor roll student. And you know what, this is being explained. We have him being upset because it's like, why is someone like you in my world? This is my world. This is where I grew up. This is what I'm used to. You don't belong here in this place. Which I kind of find that unique, because in most animes, it's always the rich person telling the poor person that this is our realm, you don't belong here. But the fact that in the beginning of this episode, it was the opposite. It was the poor person telling the rich person that. It was intriguing, but kind of funny at the same time. But yeah, and also before I forget to mention, Square Enix and Good Smile Companies are the sponsors of this anime. And the company that's making the anime is JC Staff. JC Staff, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, JC Staff. Which I have watched a couple of their works in the past, and I've liked it, so far I love this anime, so I'm gonna keep reviewing it. But after all the school and stuff and everything, he goes to another arcade store, and she's there playing, and she's playing Street Fighter 2 again, and she's using I think Yumu, his name is, if I'm pronouncing it right, probably butchering it, but the guy from Street Fighter that he could spit yoga fire and he stretches out his arms. She's playing with him versus the guy who can light up with electricity with the green skin. And she struggles, but she beats him. Then our main character, he goes up. Haru is his name. Her name is An, however you pronounce it. Haru decides to go up, and he's like, let me try. So Haru tries, and he realizes when he goes up after he pays that the analog stick is missing the little ball up top where you're supposed to grab and so your hands won't get cramped up by holding it the other way. So he had to hold it, instead of holding the ball and moving things around, he had to hold it tightly, firm, like a stick. So that made it hard to kind of play, because he's not used to playing it like that way, because that's not how the arcades are built. Then on top of that, the 6 buttons that you use to do different combinations with the move log, 4 out of those 6 buttons were gone. Only 2 worked, and 1 worked perfectly. The other one was half jammed inside, so it was really hard to play. And he was doing all this bragging about, yeah, I'm gonna get a better score than you, I can play better with this character than you. Then when he found out, when he saw the machine that way, it was like, oh no, his confidence just dropped and he lost. But it was just hilarious. And it gets funnier because he's in the arcade, right? The regular arcade where they usually go. And he's watching on. First, he's playing Street Fighter 2. He's winning. On is in the sidelines. She's doing something else. And this guy and his girlfriend, this couple walked up, and the guy stops to fight him, and he loses. He pays again, he loses. He just keeps losing and losing and losing until Haru decides, you know what? I'm gonna give you a win, and I'm gonna walk away. He basically was the bigger man and the better player. So that's what he did, and he gave him a win. The guy started talking smack, saying, "Oh, haha, I beat him. He's trash, blah blah blah." Even though he had like over 10 wins against him, and you only have one against him, so it was kind of weird. But then when Haru walks away, An steps in, and she starts playing, and then she starts to beat him. Then he's getting really really upset too, and he's like banging on the machine. He's like growling and stuff like that. And he has like really angry facial expression. So his girlfriend asks, let me take over. And she went from being this nice, sweet girlfriend with a nice face and calm to being aggressive as well. And she's banging on the machine because she's losing. And they're really, really upset because they keep losing. So they confront An, and they were like, "We want our money back, blah, blah, blah. You're a cheater, whatever." And Haru steps into, for damage control and try to defend her. And was like, "Aren't you guys being a little bit too, I forgot the word he used, I think, promiscuous or something like that." But while he's talking to them, the girlfriend sneaks up behind him and kicks him in the nuts. And he falls, of course. Then they just start stomping on him. And this is when things get even funnier. Besides their facial expression and they grown adults getting mad over a video game, An comes up and she one-shots the boyfriend. She kicks him into a machine. He lands into her face first. He's done. Then his girlfriend starts complaining to her. "Why you do that? He's knocked out, blah, blah, blah." Then An just backhands her and breaks her whole nose in, and she just starts gushing. Anyway, they're both on the floor crying or whatever. Haru finally gets up, he grabs her, and they run away. And they don't head back to that arcade for, I guess, a while. Because in the other scenes, we don't see that arcade no more. But after that, we see them go to another arcade. Because it's raining, and they found this one arcade where you can, stay dry. But the thing is, the old lady says, "I hate kids with no money." So if you can't pay a game or pay for food to stay there and chill, she kicks you out. So since Haru was low on money, he wanted to play a game called Final Fight, which gives you 3 lives, and you get to play the game from 1 up to stage 20. And it's like a fighting adventure game. But An pops in, and she's there because of the same reason, and she ends up beating him to the machine first. She starts playing. And she loses her first 2 lives quickly, but then she gets on her 3rd and she starts playing a little bit better. And Haru thought that she was horrible. So he hops on, because this is a 2-player game, and he starts playing with her. And then he finds out that she lost her first 2 lives playing horribly because she did it on purpose. She wanted to bring her life down to 1, so she could have that anxiety stress on her, so she could start playing better and focus more on the game. And while they're playing, he notices this. And what makes it funny is the fact that every time they play in this game and he does something wrong or something that she doesn't like, she either hits him with an elbow, or she stomps on his toe, or she headbutts him, or she slaps his hand or something. And it's funny because he was like, "This is what you call being in front of a tiger, and a tiger in front of you and a wolf in the rear." And the wolf in the rear was the old lady, and the tiger was Oni. So it was just funny seeing that. It was funny through the whole time, and after like an hour and something of them playing the game, the rain finally let up. So she left, and Haru was like, he was gonna pack up his stuff to leave, and he sees that you can buy lollipops for 10 cents, and he realized he has 20 cents. So he buys 2 lollipops. I believe one is strawberry and the other one is like lemon, if I'm not mistaken. He goes up to An and he's like, "Hey, pick one." And An being An, as you saw in the thumbnail, she picks both and she starts eating them. And he was like, I guess I owe you since you saved me yesterday and what you did today. So, but of course, he gave her both and she starts eating it. Then out of nowhere, he gets hit in the back by a limo at full speed and just starts flying. And the old man came out of the limo, and it was the limo driver, and he was like, "On, please come back. We have to hurry up and go back home." And she drove off. Didn't say nothing to him. Neither did the driver. They just drove off. And how he's like, "Wow, I let my guard down, and I fell for you." Now I'm not sure exactly what he meant. Like he fell for her, like he's in love with her, or he fell for her, like he let his guard down and something interrupted him. You can take that in many different ways, but yeah, that was basically the episode, and it was real good. The graphics are pretty old, and a lot of the games they play are basically old-time Sega games, Sega Genesis. But it was real good. It was enjoyable. I'm not sure how many episodes this is gonna be. Some people are saying 12, some are saying 24. But I'm gonna keep reviewing it because it's really good so far, and I like it. And yeah, tell me your thoughts and opinions on it down below. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. If you haven't subscribed, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And this was perfect. Not perfect, but it was a really good episode. I liked it. And what I like the most about it is the mechanics. Like they get into like game mechanics and strategy, and they tell you like different like codes and how to play with different characters. So it was pretty interesting. If you're a gamer and you like slice of life, either or both, you're gonna enjoy this anime because it's supposed to be game, slice of life, and I believe action. That's the categories this anime's in. So I believe there's a fourth one, but I forgot it. But yeah, it's like I said, it's made by JC staff, and Good Smile Company and Square Enix are sponsors of this. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty good. And I'm not a manga reader. For those who are manga readers, please don't give me no spoilers in the comments. Thank you. And yeah, see you on the next one.